Hello, hello. How are you guys? Let me go ahead and kill this music. Well, first of all, let me figure out how to kill the music, and then I will kill the music. It seems like, oh, there you go. Wi Fi issue. Can you guys figure out that I have a little Wi Fi lag here? Give me one quick second. Now you all understand why I like to cut my live stream to make it pretty for everyone. By the way, if you can hear me, please say, yes, we can hear you. Hello, everyone. Hi, Swati. I'm feeling good. Thank you for asking, Swati. Let me make this thing pretty. I am so excited to be here, guys. This is what I look forward to every Tuesday and every Friday. Let me bear with me here for one quick second. Anlu, you made it this time. How is life working at Amazon, Anlu? 1950, hello. Thank you for being here. Jennifer, good afternoon to you. I feel like I'm super loud on this microphone, but every time when I rewatch my stream, it's actually very quiet. So I'm still trying to adjust the happy medium. I know nothing about audio engineering. So if you have any tips, feel free to tell me. Yes, we can hear you. Perfect. Okay. So let me do this really quick. Sorry, guys. So if you are here for the very first time, my name is Holly Lee. I am a career coach. My goal is to simply share everything that I have done, I've learned, I've built from startup to almost all of the FAANG tech companies and helping you land position. I'm not just a I'm sorry, I'm not just a career coach. Of course, I'm a career coach. What am I talking about? I'm not just an interview coach. I am a career coach, meaning that within you and I, even exchanging LinkedIn messages, I know because a lot of you guys are doing that before you became my customers in my group coaching cohort or one of my program and services. It does not take that long for me to figure you out. That's why there's a big difference between just interview coach, prepping you how to interview, and actually a career coach. It's not even the same job function. Okay. So with that in mind, one of my peers asked me this week, Holly, how do you intelligently have conversation and coach professionals landing tech jobs with the companies such as Amazon, Facebook, Google, basically top tech companies? So I feel like I should put something brief together so that I can share a little bit about myself with you. I know that I'm known to be an ex-Amazonian, but I've done so much where there are a bunch of professionals who reaches out to me on LinkedIn, and my apologies. I know I try to be short, quick, to the point, and my team is also in there helping us filter through those messages. This, I will do a recap so that the next time when someone asks, Holly, what is your background? Guys, a lot of folks ask me if I teach interviewed coaching. A lot of people ask if I can help them with career transition, and that's why I'm doing this. So if you are older in my channel, bear with me. I know a lot of you guys are in my cohort as well. Thank you for being here. But I started my career providing IT services and infrastructure for about the first 8 years. And we're talking about 21 years ago before landing my first job at Microsoft back in 2008. That is before the last recession. There, I was able to be, I was a staffing lead or a recruiting managers in the regular terminology that you guys would understand. I've supported SDET, which means software development, engineering, and test, all of automation across special projects for Microsoft Data Center and other initiatives as well at the time. I've also, my team, not me personally, I managed a team to hire and build out Windows OS. At the time, they were working on Windows Vista, I believe. It was such a long time ago. Forgive me if my memories are getting a little vague. Also, Microsoft Office Suite. We're talking about PowerPoint, Word, Excel, and all of that. And the one areas that I don't touch at the time was devices or like Xbox gaming for Microsoft. When I have my landed my first job at a FANG company, which was at Google, I supported all of software engineering in test. If you think about Google as hands down, everyone who's watching, Google is hands down the best software company in the world, hands down. And I can say that with confidence after working with a lot of those players. And here's why I mentioned that, because if you're thinking about Gmail, Google Chrome, just Google product in general. Their software is so meticulous that it doesn't shut down and the scalability is sharp. That's Google. Google is extremely process driven. Okay. So, as I was supporting across all of Google's products and services, such as maps, fiber optics, data center, mobile, I hired the first mobile engineer for Google, hardware engineering, and etc. There, when I moved from as a recruiter, as an IC to Amazon, I started my career as a senior recruiter where I was able to build Kindle hardware, software engineering. Actually, when I was hired, I was told that I only have like 15 positions to fill, which is hardware engineering. This is what Amazon will do to you guys. I worked in 3 different org, and if you haven't have a chance already, I would encourage you, if you're interested in working for Amazon, look at my Amazon onboarding process, my first week. 30 days and 90 days where I walk through every single org I've been in. It's very similar scenario where you're told that you have a XYZ and then your number literally quadruple or 10 times within the next month. So rather than just hardware, being a recruiter for hardware engineering, I had I'm talking about the entire Kindle organization's hardware. We're talking about RF, antenna, hardware engineering, embedded engineering, program, product management, all of the above, designers, UX, basically every single thing for Kindle, including LTE 4G software, which I love it. So a lot of you guys I know are very Amazon heavy in my channel. Thank you for supporting my work, but it's not just for Amazon. I wanted to shed some light with my background because there's 2 types of recruiter. There's recruiter number one, where generally when we're hired to do a job, you are software engineering, go home, or you're recruiting for program manager. Just that's it, all program management, right? For me, I've always been extremely thirsty. Right? I have a really high drive where it doesn't matter what employer I work for. I like to stretch myself super thin. That's just who I am. I am doing that now. Within 1 year, I now have 6 products and services as my own business as a coach. Okay, just shedding some light here. I support all of Kindle organization. I personally, even during that time in the first year, I've hired by myself 60 hires for the Kindle org. We're talking about software, hardware, and everything in the 9 yards. Program, technical, product manager, engineering, so on and so forth. I had a great opportunity to relocate from my hometown, which is Silicon Valley, to the heart of Seattle. I've been here for the last 7 years. I know today's live is getting a little bit more intimate, so you learn a little bit who your virtual coach is. Hello. At Amazon Consumer, I built the product management, user design, technical program manager, engineering team worldwide. When asked, and I get asked a lot, not just by one of my peers, I get a lot by leadership. Directors at Apple asked me this, Microsoft GM asked me this. A lot of folks would say, "Hey, Holly, you've never been a technical program manager before. How are you going to help me find a principal TPM position at Amazon?" Funny that you asked. I've actually built that entire team. So if you really look at the work of not just any recruiter, the one who's really hungry and thirsty, and let me give you an example of what I meant. At Google, when I know that I was going into test automation, building all of test framework for all of Google's products and services, as mentioned earlier, I went and bought myself a book. It's called Test Automation and Testing to learn everything. In fact, I'm so geeky in the technology. I have a computer science degree. Yes, professional. I have a computer science degree. Yes, at one point in my life, I did code in C++, but that's a long time ago. Please do not ask me. But even back in the college day, when I was poor with top ramen and eating pizza almost every night, for those who have been there, put your hands up. It was me. I didn't just grow up and landed with all this FAANG company, okay? I have been through a lot of the stuff that all of you guys are experiencing, where I had to really be creative and told myself that if I land a job with the FAANG company, I will be one of the top performer. And what do I need to do? I need to do this. Nope, I don't want to do just software engineering. I'm going to do software, hardware, embedded. Yeah. So that is my attitude. That's been my attitude for my entire career. That's why I started to realize that and I know there's a lot of content creator out there. There's some great, amazing content creators out there as well. I see myself very different from the community because when I talk about Amazon, for example, and why I love doing this ad hoc live streaming twice a week is because I can talk about any of those positions. It's rare for me to come across a role that I've never supported or worked on before. If I haven't, for example, like support engineer, I have never worked in those positions because that's a little bit too low level and I focus more on mid to senior and executive for all these top companies. I still know what it means. Customer, for example, delivery managers, I never hire that, but I know what those are, right? Operations, logistics, supply chain. So I've done all of that. That's why I'm so damn passionate to help you and come in here to live stream every single week to talk about tech. Okay. But moving on from consumer, I had an amazing time. It was the first time that I had. It was a privilege to build the Toronto Amazon Alexa team. Well, they didn't tell me to build the team. It's more of me putting a proposal together and look at the gap and look at how many Amazon group of family that we wanted to put on the shelf in the next 3 months. Yes, professional. When you join Amazon, it's not a year, 2 year, 10 year to launch a product. It's more like months, a few months. Come on, let's go. So when I roadmap and I found out that we have a physical office, a consumer team sitting in Toronto, there were no devices. So I quickly had to leverage the bar racers, the engineering leaders to turn them into interviewed for us. And I physically was up there with my hiring team to train them how to interview for Alexa. So if one should ask me, how Holly, how do you know how to hire for consumer? How to hire for, ABC? Because I am one of those recruiting leader or HR recruiter, however you want to call me, it's just a name. I like to dive deep into meat. I like to go where the party is because at Amazon, taking Kindle organization, for example, at the time I had an offer from Apple. I declined Apple, by the way, declined a lot of money on the table for Amazon because like is not even the right word. I love working for underdog. I love, it was a piece of plastic. It was a paperweight at the time. It was so bad. But I was so passionate in the technology where I walked in to the lab, the research lab. This is lab 126. And I said, you know what? I'm convinced that this is going to be the best selling ebook and paper, right? And I was right. It was sold out from the moment we launched a second, third generation, right? I want you to take it apart and show me what's inside. When you want me to hire for senior level or principal level hardware engineering with high speed design and board design, what on earth are we talking about? Take it apart and show me what you mean. And they did. I love that, right? I did the same thing for software engineering as well. What do you mean by tests? What? Okay, tell me tell me the lingo. How many? That's why I talk about keyword professional. Do you see where I'm going to help you here? That's why I focus so much on keyword search in my coaching cohort, even my branding or resume LinkedIn Accelerator. Because if you don't have those keyword, I was a recruiter for all of those company and all of the roles that I just mentioned. You'll never get found, okay? Because if your keyword isn't in your branding, you're not going to able to speak intelligently with those buzzwords. So I get this a lot from other coaches or even from some of my clients, not all of my clients, some of them were asking me, Holly, how are you going to do you do data scientists, AI and ML? I mean, do you know the technologies and what you're talking about? And I said, funny that you mentioned I've never done it before, but the last 2 years I joined Facebook. I was the recruiting leader and I oversee all of North America for the specialized artificial intelligence machine learning for augment and virtual reality across all of Oculus Research Lab here in Seattle. I was also building out the operation system team, security, mobile. That was the first time ever that I was focused on building mobile web browser. If anyone here owns an Oculus, if you look at the mobile app, there's functions to buy games, the look and feel of user experience, all of that. So my team, not me personally, have hired a lot of those folks. That's why, and other technologies that I can't talk about, of course, because Facebook Oculus is building something pretty amazing that we shouldn't talk about. So let's move on. This is why I can speak any position in tech space and I'd be able to coach any type of clients to get into those companies. And my teaching, as you can hear, it's not just for Amazon, right? Please put in the live chat and give me not just Amazon. I want to get you an offer at Amazon, at Facebook, at Google, at startup, whatever your choice is, because there's some amazing startup out there. Have you heard? I feel like every week someone is going pre-IPO or IPO. So another part of my teaching is to not put all your eggs in one basket. Okay. I think I've shed some light a little bit about my background and where I come from in case you are wondering how I'm able to help you. All right. That is it. As mentioned earlier, I do live stream twice a week, Tuesday and Friday. Now, the Friday morning is for my AMIA because a lot of you guys reach out to me and tell me that you're not able to join my live coaching. Also, it is member only where I review your LinkedIn profile. Okay. A lot of you have reached out to me regarding creating a Facebook community for my pay YouTube member. That is coming. I've just been a little bit tied up with my hand, but I will put a group together sometime this week and get to learn more about you and see what my team and I can do to support you on the other end. Okay. All righty. Wow. Future Amazonian. I like that. Future Amazonian. Okay. Let me go through. If you have a question for me, do me a big favor, everyone. Put the Q in front of your question so my eyes are aiming right at it. Okay. My pay YouTube member, thank you so much for being here. Anna, Oliver. Hello, Oliver. How are you? Long time no see. Just Friday, right? Valentina, how are you? I wanted to drop in to say hello. I love you and appreciate you, Valentina. The fact that you landed a job offer and you keep on coming back and you're still supporting my work. I appreciate that. Swati, welcome. Future Amazoni, hello and everyone. Oh, Abby. So you're Abby. Okay, guys, you guys all have fancy name, which I appreciate, but you gotta kind of remind me who you are, okay? Some of you guys are in my coaching cohort as well. I'm trying to put two to two together. It's kind of funny. Future Amazonian. I like that. If Amazon is watching this, Amazon will be very appreciative. Not the part where I say, don't just settle for Amazon. Juna, hello, Juna. How are you? Juna says, so excited to join my first live session after bringing your videos for the past 2 weeks. Excellent, Juna. If you have any questions regarding where you are at right now, I'm assuming interview prepped, let me know and drop your question in the chat below, okay? Apple Green, good to see you. Catherine, hello, Catherine. Good to see you. Edwin, thank you for supporting my word. Tracy, how are you, Tracy? Yes, thank you, Anlu. Anlu is our community manager. Say hello to Anlu. Get it settled. Hello. Oh, you got a job offer. This is amazing. This is awesome. I get super, super excited when someone gets a job offer. Can you guys tell how excited I am? I remember the hat. That is right. You were just here for, I want to say, about a month or so. Get it settled. Congratulations for you. I think we're connected on LinkedIn, but if we're not, please let me know because I do have a fantastic private LinkedIn group for everyone who's landed an offer at Amazon or basically a company of their choice. The intent of that group specifically is for you to collaborate because when you started a new job with any employer, the first 90 days is the hardest. Even as an Amazonian transfer from team to team, it's almost as if you're starting with a brand new company. So it helps to know what other folks are there in different teams for you to kind of collaborate should you need. Okay. Future Amazonian says, I just wanted to learn how to search questions on Glassdoor the way you mentioned. Oh, you were paying attention, Abby. Thank you so much. Why don't I do a tutorial for you on the Friday session because I'm not set up for that right now. I'm happy to show you a tutorial. So when you're searching on Glassdoor, you don't search for keyword. Okay, when I talk about keyword, I mean keyword are what recruiters use to find you. All right. For example, if you are technical program managers, you better have systems design, object analysis, architectural. You see where I'm going? A TPM or technical program manager, majority of them come from some type of engineering background. They know what user design is because as a TPM, they work very closely in collaboration with those tech peers. So that's what I mean by keywords. All of those should be in your branding. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, take a look at my landing page. That is the Resume Accelerator. Now, for everyone who purchases my Resume Accelerator from my YouTube community, I'm throwing in my LinkedIn Accelerator for free. And the LinkedIn Accelerator price is actually $450 for free because I think that the resume and the LinkedIn do go together in hand. You can't do one and not the other. Yes, there's a lot of similarity in your branding. At the same time, there is differentiation, right? Because in your LinkedIn professionals, you want it to look as clean, as neat, as to the point as possible while hitting the buzzword. And I'm so anal with the process of how I teach section by section and tearing my own either LinkedIn profile or my resume apart. Okay. So that's what I mean by keyword. It's not you searching for the keyword, it's how the recruiter is searching to find you, Abby. Future Amazonian says, I did find commonly as solution architect. That's right. You're the solution architect guy. There should be a whole bunch of solution architect on Glassdoor, but without an example, of course. Um, Solution architect, that role at Amazon is very similar to a TAM, which is technical account manager. Okay, all right. So I would encourage you to do a search on Glassdoor. My goodness, excuse me, guys. Coffee time. I would encourage you to do a search for technical account manager. Do you see what I'm doing here? So when a lot of people are asking me, how do you coach your solution architect? You're not an engineer, Holly. Well, because I've hired a lot of people like you. And once you're hired, I turn you into my interviewer to hire more people like you. And also your manager, which is a dev manager and senior manager and directors and bar racer, I hang out with them. We actually create manuals and training materials together to hire you. So that's how I'm able to know a lot of the language in a solution architect. I can tell you this though, I don't have your information. If you want me to review your LinkedIn profile and take a look at it on Friday, Abby, I'm more than happy to. If I look at your profile, it should pop up that you are a solution architect. Having the name solution architect does nothing. Having AWS infrastructure or cloud is just one area. But what about networking? What about a lot of the infrastructure layers? Are you familiar with that? So there's just so much when we're talking about the buzzword. First, before you even look in Glassdoor, I would just Google it. I talk about Google and Glassdoor for the first 6 months. In fact, I talk so much about it and I've done so many tutorials. Go take a look at my networking and branding. It's a playlist, okay? If you don't know, have no clue what I'm talking about, simply just go to any of my video, even the one that you're watching right now, click on the description, go to the very bottom. It shows you how to go to my playlist and find it. There's tutorial telling you how to search for interview questions, so on and so forth, using Google and Glassdoor. I talked about it so much, guys, that some of my members, like you guys, actually made a comment on my YouTube video that, Holly, you talk so much about Glassdoor. Basically, cut it out. And I'm here thinking, well, there's a reason why I can't stop talking about Glassdoor. Glassdoor's not sponsoring me, by the way, but they should. I know how to use that platform with my eyes closed, is because I coach a lot of professionals. And that's why I'm in it almost every single week. So when I'm so familiar with the platform, I just want to share it with all of you guys to help you be as best prepared as possible. But Abby, for solution architect specifically, is really similar to the TAM role, technical account manager at Amazon. Okay. Now that's not similar to other player. It's just at Amazon. Coke and pizza. Nice. Oh, pizza sounds so yummy right now. I'm just having my first coffee. Okay, let's go with Apple Green says, does the cohort coaching covers rebuilding resume and LinkedIn, struggling to know what services are covered? Um, yes, all of my to make you feel better, professionals, all of my program covers all of it because I've had coaches before. I've had 6 coaches. I've had a number of YouTube coaches, how to build this, how to live stream. I have a coach for that as well. You see the setup? Yes, I do have a coach for that as well. I have a coach for everything. Um, I would recommend, if you don't, listen very carefully. I know our attention span is really short. If you don't have an interview scheduled, the Star Interview Accelerator is my lowest cost 2 months program where I review your LinkedIn and resume and also tell you exactly what to do to make you stand out. You do not, let me repeat myself. You do not need the resume or LinkedIn Accelerator because that covers everything for you where I am your coach. Okay? It also covers teaching you how to write your storytelling. It is a beast. The Star Interview Accelerator is a beast. Currently, it is at 50% off right now because it's a pandemic. It is a 2 months course. I'm being very cautious when I mention the word course because when people hear about course or program, it turns them off because mentally we don't want to do the hard work. Let's be honest here. If I look at my analytics of everyone who bought any of my courses, the one who completed the course is probably 2 out of 10. But guess what? Those are the 2 who landed job offers. Yeah, you guys remember our friend Clip and Emmanuel? Those were the 2 that completed it. They show up to my weekly office hour where we work on storytelling and mock interviewed, okay? Every single Monday at 9:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, okay? They do every single thing. Emmanuel were able to land her first offer at 7 weeks. And both of them came from no-name company. In fact, Cliff was the owner of his own company. He didn't even work for a company. Okay. And now both of them are with their dream company. They're not at Amazon, but they are at a premier brand name in their industry and they couldn't be any happier. So that's what I mean by the accelerator. This, I'm only recommending this. Listen to me, professional. Don't be antsy. If you don't have an interview already, because you need at least 2 months for me to get you interview ready and see and then evaluate what you are. My VIP cohort is mainly for senior level and leaders, executive. There's a couple directors. Everyone has 10 to 20 years experience. The VIP is only good if you are starting your interview process with any of the employer. The one thing I've coached my members to do is to push out the interview at least a month. Again, these are people who don't really have issue trying to figure out what they have done, where they have failed and all of that stuff, and they need their story to be reviewed. Um, the resume and LinkedIn is also in here as well to help you. And the only difference between the two is this one has 2 office hour versus 1 because this is made for folks who already have an interviewed in process. Okay. But for all of you guys, you can't go wrong with either of my 2 most popular services. I love my Star Accelerator because when I work with member, it does take 2 to 3 months to see success, especially when you guys have so many failed interviewed. By the way, my member, my client, I would say 99% of them have failed anywhere between 1 to 6 interviews, and they're also able to land a job in my cohort. Okay. Ann Lu is also in my VIP and in everything that I do. And she's actually my moderator as well. We use Discord to coach our member, and I run all of my live coaching via Zoom every single week. I hope that answers your question, Apple Green. Okay. Let's move on. Yes, please. Not just Amazon, London leader. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. Skiller. Skiller says, for engineering department, yes, please talk engineering to me. Look at my face. Look at the smile on my face. What's the difference in Amazon interviewed since it's not a software department, but a technical in basis of facility management? What are you asking? So you're asking for engineering. Are you asking for engineering department or facility department? Because they're 2 different things. I'm trying to understand the question. What's the difference in Amazon interviewed since it's not a software department, technical basis? So are you trying to, are you asking what is the, you need to be specific. First of all, tell me what position you're interviewing for, who you're interviewing with. Okay, Skiller? It sounded like you're interviewing for an engineering role for facility management. I'm not really sure. I don't want to spend my time giving you a couple minutes interview prep for the wrong thing. So if you can please verify that for me, be awesome, okay? Jingnish says, tomorrow I have a phone interview. Good luck to you, Jingnish. Min, hey Min, I have an interview tomorrow. How do I answer? What's my expected total comp? Well, then you need to go look at my salary expectation video. I have a salary expectation playlist. There's 3 to 4 different videos. You need to watch them because it tells you exactly what to do, how to ask, where to ask. But before you ask for money, you need to figure out what your worth is, not just do some random search, but what are your worth from where the job is located at, not where you live. Are you relocating? Okay, so go watch my salary negotiation playlist. Hi, Rhythm. Rhythm says how to get an interview with FAANG if you have been in the role just 6 months ago. How do you get, what are you, I'm confused. Are you trying to tell me that, is this your first job? The first questions I have for you is with them, is this your first job that you only have 6 years experience? Are you already working for a FAANG company? Tell me more meat. Okay. I like to dive deep. If you all want to land a job in any of the FAANG company and specifically Amazon, it is all about diving deep and peeling onions. That's what I taught at Amazon. It's called Making Great Hiring Decision. It was my 5-hour course that I teach every single new hire who wants to be an interviewer. Okay. Even bar racers have sat in my class. You have to take that class before you become a bar racer. That's how you get qualified. Okay. So you need to be very, very specific. When you're specific with your question, just like how you guys are going to be very, very specific in your storytelling, that's the only way for you to ace a job. Okay. CK Tan. Hey, CK Tan. How are you? Thank you for being a member. Jennifer. Jennifer. Let's see here. Jennifer says, excited to finally be able to join your live stream. I have been watching your YouTube for a couple of months. Thank you for supporting my work, Jennifer. Skiller says, I've already landed an interview, but couldn't decide how to prepare apart from the 14 leadership principle. And for engineering department, which principle should I highlight? Oh, okay. I understand your question now. It's not software engineering, but engineering operation facility. Okay, that's more clear. You see, Skiller, when you ask a question or give an answer, you have to be very, very specific. When you're not specific, if an interviewer or the person you're talking to have to ask probing questions, eventually they're going to give up and they will close that door on you. Okay? It doesn't matter if this is not for a software product or reporting to like a software engineering team. If the role require you, if the role require you to have some type of engineering operation, I'm assuming that you already have a pre-screen call with the recruiter. I'm also assuming that you have looked at the job descriptions. What are the requirements when it comes to engineering operation? I don't even need to have experience hiring with that. I'm going to assume that you have an EE background, EE or ME, which is electrical engineering background. That's probably the type of engineering that you will be doing. And when it comes to operation facility, what does the job description calls for? Because I can't just give you an advice without knowing anything about your background. You see where I'm going? Not even knowing really what position, what team, what niche you're going into. It's kind of vague. So for anyone who are able to just give you an answer like that, that's very vague. And I like to go a little bit deeper. So look at the job description. What is it calling for? Ask your recruiter, can you please describe to me what is the technical components or must-have requirement for this role? Can you describe this position for me from beginning to end? For example, if I start with Amazon next week, what exactly will I be building and doing? And there's your answer right there. Okay? And you can also ask that question to the hiring manager, Skiller. Get it settled. Yes, we're connected on LinkedIn. I stop by often as I can. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Get It Settled. It means a lot for you guys to land a job offer and doesn't disappear. Could you imagine if everyone landed an offer and you guys all disappeared? Yes, I'm probably going to have to repeat myself, then I'll be getting new audience, but there's no fun because my regular isn't here. And when I have a group of new folks, they don't get my dry joke. It may offend some other people. So it's nice to have members who already know how I am. CK. Scalar, if it's not a technical role, then what is really your question? It sounds like you know what the answer is. And if you wanted to dive deeper into the environment of the engineering operation team, those are a lot of the questions you could be asking the hiring manager, that person who's going to be meeting with you or phone screening. Okay. When you don't know what you're getting yourself into, just like working at Google, for example, let me just pause for a second here. When I work for Google, when you get an offer from Google, you have no clue what role. Sure, your software engineer or whatever position title it is, you have no clue who your hiring manager is. You probably would never meet your team or your peer. That's how Google works. A lot of the big companies, when they're so busy, they just funnel and filter a lot of the offer accept and then put them where they need the most, where the projects are. Okay. So this is what I mean. And I've done that before. So if you don't know what you're getting yourself into, it's asking the qualifying questions to learn more about your environment. Yeah. CK says, can I know how interview result decided this discussion by the interviewer? Is there a grading system? The only system they have is pros and cons. Okay. You guys do the math. If you have six interviewer, if one person give you a thumbs up, the likelihood of you getting a job is still very, very high. Because at the end, between the hiring managers and the bar raisers, just over the overall feedback, they have an opportunity to change their vote, just like any other companies. Yeah. So there's no really a grading system. It is a system where, is this a good hire for the company? Let's put our hands up or down. At the end of the day, even if you have two thumbs down, you could still get the job if the hiring manager is willing to mentor you and coach you and knowing where the gap is with your background. Juna says, I passed my phone interview with a peer for a senior marketing role. Recruiter says, I have another phone interview, but didn't say with whom. What can I expect from the second interview? I have no clue what you can expect from the second interview. It has to do with your first interview. You probably felt short in some part of the interview. If you guys really think about the question that was being asked and how you're able to answer it, did you have clarity? Did you make sense? Did you provide specific detail example how you're delivering result? If the answer is no, then that's probably why they want a second interview. Edwin says, I have an interview tomorrow. Can you let me know? Is it bad to reschedule? I'm not ready with the star story. Well, Edwin, it's kind of late if your interview is tomorrow. Even if you message the recruiter, I don't know if they are, I don't know if they will see the email. It is now what? It's like half a day that's gone. Okay, people stop working in 3-4 hours. I would try to email the recruiter if you have their number or call them to reschedule. But I'm going to say this one more time, guys. I made a whole playlist of that playlist is called Failed Amazon Interviewed, which means for any company, not just Amazon. Here's the thing, guys. If I put things on there without slapping the name Amazon, no one will watch my content. For some reason, when you search for content and how you were able to find me, you put the word Amazon. That's keyword for content creator. It's Amazon, right? But it's for any company. When you guys are not ready for an interview, why do you keep on taking interview people? Stop it. Where's my stop? I need a button that says stop. Stop doing that, people. Stop. I'm not yelling at you, Edwin. I'm yelling at everyone who's listening. I am telling you this right now. The reason why I mentioned that 99% of every single one of my customers have failed interview is because they don't listen. They don't listen, people. You have a coach who actually worked for all of those companies, who taught those interviewers how to evaluate you. And here I am switching the table around and giving that to you guys for free, by the way. One, if you don't have, and listen very carefully, professional, if you don't have at the bare minimum 20 story where you review each and every single one of them, put the leadership principle in the toilet for a second. Do you have a clear example? Are you able to highlight what problem you're trying to solve in each and one of your 20 stories? Did you forget the how? How were you able to deliver result with the action that you take? What was your impact? If you got no impact, then no, you are not ready. The power of storytelling is key, professional, okay? Just like being a career coach, I haven't run any ads or do anything yet. I love these live stream because I want you to know what you're getting with me. And the folks who landed in my cohort, their expectation, it's nothing more because I'm really the same person. Well, oftentimes I may just unrecord ourselves and be more raw with them. But the bottom line is you need to be able to follow instruction and listen. I cannot address that enough. I almost want to make a video just to teach you guys how to listen. I get it. Interview is a skill that no one likes, especially when I talk about branding. Everyone fall apart, and I feel like everyone just hit the shutdown button on their laptop or PC when I do that. There's not a lot of coaches out there that have so much passion that they would do anything to help you. So, what I'm asking for you all to do is to take advantage of all the free resources that you can find on YouTube, on Google, on Media, on Medium, on Ford. There's so many free stuff out there. And then once you find the ones that you click with that can speak your language, you hold on to it and then you start listening to them. Okay. There's so many great materials out there. But when you guys are reaching out to me, that's how I know that you haven't looked at anything. When you start asking me if I coach interview prep, that's how I know that you just want the easy way out. Okay. And then I get so many, can you please review my resume? I can't do that because you and 1,000 other people, thousands of other people were asking the same thing. And my coaching style, not just in the virtual YouTube world, even in my cohort, I don't give my student answers. I walk them through, literally holding their hand and telling them what to write and what to take out to the T. And that's how anal I am. So you, until you have how many story? Put down the very bottom. How many story do you think you have? Also, how long should your story be when you articulate them? Please put it at the very bottom. How long do you think the story should be? And if you don't have those two, it's not how many times you have recorded yourself to sound crisp in your story, but how short is your story? How concise is it? And are you able to answer the question, okay? Does Amazon keeps a record of failed interview? Edwin, you need to look at my playlist. It's called Failed Amazon Interview. I talked about every single thing in detail. Every company keeps a record of all failed interview. Every single company, even startup. Yes. Can you all give me a star on the bottom? I love star emoji. I would love it if you give me some star emoji in the bottom. Punit. Punit says, I passed my SD2 on-site interview in the process of negotiation. Wow, congratulations, Punit. Good for you. I remember you, Punit. I'm going to assume that I had already, or me, not me personally, but me and my team have already invited you to my private Facebook group. If I haven't yet, Punit, please reach out to us on my LinkedIn page, and my team will get back to you, okay? Congratulations. Tell us, is there any particular playlist that you have watched on my channel that helped you? And please do share your knowledge with the rest of the gang. Okay, let's see here. Let's go with Ting. Ting. Hi, Holly. Passed my first Amazon interview last week for Business Development Manager in DSP. Second one tomorrow, prepping for Star Story. Definitely help after watching your videos. Awesome. Now, Ting and everyone else, if you haven't already, make sure you download my Star template, okay? It is Star download. If you go to my business page, which is hollylee.co, and just go to download. And it's free. Good luck to you, Tang. Swati says, I had my final loop interview last Wednesday. A recruiter reached out to me yesterday asking for my additional details, and I have a call with her today. Should I prepare for the call? Well, you should always be prepared for all the calls. When you say asking for additional detail, I'm not really sure what you meant for that. If you pass the first, okay, your final loop, it's probably about money. You have to watch my salary negotiation video. There's a couple of them. Go watch it. It's going to teach you how to negotiate intelligently so you're not getting a lower offer, okay? It's not just Amazon. It's any employer. You could always negotiate. Always. If they tell you you can't negotiate, which is really, really rare, unless you are a college grad, then you probably don't have, or intern, you probably can't negotiate for a more junior position. But for any industry hired, I'm talking about at least like for SDE, you could absolutely negotiate. But for level 5 and above position, yes. Cecilia, hi Cecilia. I just interviewed with Amazon with 2 teams for an L5. The offer is L6. Any suggestion? Help looking at L6 if I only get an L5 offer. Well, let me reread your question again. You just interviewed with Amazon with two different teams. Okay. The one is L5. Okay, you're interviewing with an L5 and an L6. It doesn't matter. They're evaluating you for both anyway. So at Amazon, it really doesn't matter what level you're interviewing with. At the end of the day is how intelligent is your answer, and do you have the level of scope and scale for level 6? Also, your offer, they're not going to give you a 5 and a 6 offer. It's the same offer, but it's one of those where you choose a team. So the compensation that you get in leveling should be the same thing. Again, it's not just Amazon, it's any employer, okay? Also, I get a lot of questions. Holly, if I'm interviewing for an L6, like in an L5, can I negotiate for an L6? Absolutely not, because it's asking for a promotion when you haven't even done the work. If Amazon is in doubt that you haven't done the able of deliverable or scalability at a level 6, then they will make you a level 5 offer. They could give you more money, but there's no way they will give you a level up because they're not setting you up to be successful. Sumit says, giving Amazon on-site interview tomorrow. Your videos have helped a lot. You're welcome, Sumit. Good luck to you. Abby says, Holly's unique star method works, everyone. I struggle with my writing stories for many months with the regular star method, but failed to articulate. I'm so glad you mentioned that. Let me just pause for a second. There's a big difference. You are going to find that a lot of career coaches or interview coach are starting to talk about the star method. Just think of it as, I can't think of a good analogy. The STAR is situation, task, action, and result. I think it has a lot to do with the teacher, the person who's teaching you, and their background and how they're able to make it. Because even if you work with other coaches who's able to trim their story down to 30, 45-second, my style, by the way, I only start talking about 30-second, 45-second in 2020 when a pandemic hit, when I coach a lot of my cohort and I look at them and everyone's falling asleep within 15 seconds. That's how I know that I'm supposed to help you trim it down. Unless those coaches have a lot of customers like I have and coach in the way that I have, that's how I'm able to create programs and adapting it, changing it based on the economic and also what the market is calling for. Okay. Now, if there isn't a whole lot of position, if everything is back to normal, you still need to get under 60-second. In fact, I'm so passionate about it. My first video on YouTube a year and a half ago is a 60-second elevator pitch. Well, I can't say don't watch it. It's a great video. It teaches you how to prepare for your interview. But the quality is not that great. I'm just being very raw here. Try to trim your answer down to less than a minute because no one has time to. They don't care about anything else. They only care about what problem did you solve, how do you do it, and what is your business impact. That's it. A lot of people I've seen a lot of different types of coaches who are able to coach their students in answering a 3 to 5 minute answer. No, that's not going to work out. In fact, I haven't really met anyone who are at Amazon who tells me to keep their answer in less than a minute. Not a single person at Amazon told me that. So I'm going to go ahead and take credit for that. When I mentioned 30, 45 second, I've been saying 30, 45 second for over a year. Over a year. And now I'm seeing that a lot of coaches are starting to say the same thing, which is great. And now we're going to talk about the content of teaching. I think that my calling in this life is teaching. I'm not saying it to be cheesy. Just hear me out here because I had all this great opportunity and work for all these great companies, but it always boils down to why, and the main reason why I quit my job was because there's something that's missing. I'm not doing enough training, enough teaching. Yeah, sure. I get on the phone and I talk to a candidate to pre-qualify you and prep you for the interview. I don't just want to prep you for interviewed. I'm bored. I want to do so much more than that. I want to be able to look at you or just look at your resume and know exactly what to do for you in supporting your journey and help you get from A to B. And I'm also one of those coach who knows what you want and what you need and how to get there better than you. So that is not an interview coach. That's a career coach in the split of being a life coach. And that's my passion. Okay. I have to say that because the STAR method, everyone talk about the STAR method. Everyone have their different styles. So don't assume that because you hear the word STAR method, it's all the same. It isn't. It isn't the same thing. All right, let's go down for more questions, shall we? Tang, thank you so much for the star. You welcome. Skeller, you welcome. Ming, you welcome. Paul, Kwan, hello, Kwan. Hello, Anna. I want to make sure I don't miss anybody. You guys know how I am if I miss folks. Alrighty. Let's go with Olua. Olua. Okay, I will go to you in a second. Raul says, can you explain how RSU works? Well, first of all, RSU at Amazon is all over the internet. If you do a quick search on Amazon RSU, it's all over YouTube, okay? RSU is just like any other company, is vested in 4 years. Again, you can find all this information in public, and the recruiter will definitely tell you over the phone before you land in an offer. And if you have questions about compensation in an interview process, here's a pro tip for you guys. Do not ask about money until you know you're going to get that offer. If not, you're going to waste everyone's time where they don't even know you meet the bar, okay? In general, Amazon vested 5% first year, 15% second year. So if you want to see a decent dollar amount share, you have to be at Amazon for over 2 years to get vested 20%. And then after that, it's 40% every 6 months 20% every 6 months until it's fully vested. So it is 20% and then 40, third and fourth year. Okay. If you want to be fully vested, you have to stay at Amazon for a full 4 years. So when you negotiate, what should you negotiate, my friend? Go check out my salary expectation for Amazon video. Ole says, I'm interviewing for a technical lead role, but do not have an experience working as a manager. I have software development experience instead. How can I pass the interview? Oh, that's interesting. I love your question. Ole, I love it. You don't need to have people management skill to be a leader, by the way. You're probably going to end up having a couple direct reports, not like a typical manager where you start off with anywhere between 15 to 20 something direct reports. You probably have about 3 to 5 to start. Because, for example, even an area manager or new grads with a bachelor's degree, you could be an area manager in the fulfillment center for Amazon in ops. You don't need people manager because they're looking for smarts. They're looking for the type of leadership quality. I talk a lot about leadership quality. Go check out my collaboration with my amazing branding partner, which is String Nguyen or String Story. 2 weeks ago, was it a week ago? I lost time. Yes, a week ago. The most recent collaboration, it's called LinkedIn Branding. Go watch that out. I actually talk about leadership for people who are not people manager and individual contributor. Okay, go watch that out. There's a lot of good meat in there for you to know, and it teaches you how to create answers around demonstrating ownership. All of you VIP and Start Eve Accelerator, you know what I'm talking about when I'm talking about ownership. This is exactly what I've been preaching to a lot of my member. When you show up to my weekly office hour, I'm trying to train them how to sound more ownership in diving deep and thinking big while delivering results. And not everyone is interviewing at Amazon. There's a couple who's interviewing at Microsoft, Netflix, and other companies as well. It makes me very happy when someone calls me that I am not just an Amazon coach. I know. Branding is really big. I don't want people to think that, and why I made that comment is because in the entire of 2020, I actually have one of my VIP member who didn't listen, took an interview within 2 weeks, and then failed the Amazon interview and peaced out. And that person just left the group. And then when I asked, what's going on? What's wrong? Is there anything that we could do to fix? Is it us? Is it me or what, right? Because we do care. We genuinely care when someone is not having a good experience. And the feedback I got was, well, Holly, you're an Amazon interview coach. And now that I bought my interviewed, I don't feel that there's any value here. That individual did not take the time to read my cohort and to really read anything for that matter. It says interview prep for FAANG companies. Every single one of my branding professional is for FAANG companies. Because I grew up with startup, Fortune 100, 500, 1,000. I don't even know if there's such thing as 1,000 companies, but I work for all of those companies. When your interview doesn't work and you just give up on yourself, what makes you think you're going to land another job with any company? Because you've just given up on yourself. I feel like one thing that I am never going to get tired repeating myself is teaching you to not give up. Okay? I will conclude with a message on something like this. Don't worry if you missed my spiel half an hour ago, it will come back to you towards the end. All right? Rhythm. Rhythm says, I recently moved from suite to product. That's awesome. Makes me so happy. This is so common. There's a lot of suite to product. There's not a whole lot of product to suite. A lot of the software engineer, because as a software engineer, you build a product. You work with whom? The product managers, program management, designers, so on and so forth. So a lot of the time when they're doing career transition, they're just trying to figure out when they meet the peak, or for some reason they don't like to be an engineer, they move to the product management role. Good for you. How do I get PM interviewed? I'm not FAANG, but at Fortune 500. You know what, Rhythm? Is excellent that you're with a Fortune 500 company, because a lot of my clients, they're not with any of those companies. They're with startup. I've had nonprofit. I've had Boeing. I've had manufacturing. I've had government. I've had healthcare. I get a lot of Deloitte. Not so much IBM. I get a lot of consulting management company, and they are Amazonian. Okay, please do not reach out to the people who's written an endorsement for me. But even on my LinkedIn, written endorsement, if you take a look at their background, none of them are from Fortune 500 companies. I shouldn't say none, maybe one, but it's really, really rare. To transition from SWE to product is very easy, because as a SWE, when you're building, right, you're building great things. What are you building? What is the product that you're building? What feature are you building for the product? I can go on. I can spend an hour right now asking you probing questions. But if you are an engineer, you already have the tech background. You already know how to do the full software development life cycle to transition you into a product management life cycle. It's so simple. It's not hard at all, okay? If you haven't connected with me already, Rhythm, make sure you do. I'm Holly Lee on LinkedIn. Let me take a look at your LinkedIn profile so I know who I'm talking about. Okay? Cool. Next, Skiller. I'm a very bad position in my career-wise. I don't care about salary. I only want to get the job. Can I be honest about the interview panel? No. No. Do not say that. Guys, I'm going to put out a video that says what not to say during an interview. Do not say that. Here's the thing, guys. And I know I should be more honest in my video, but I am not, because I don't know who my audience are. And I'm not a cup of tea for a lot of the people. You see how raw and authentic I am? Not a lot of people are like me. I share things because I know how the inside work. Let me repeat myself one more time. I have been recruiting for all of those companies, just big companies, small companies, just company, over 20 years. I have taught a lot of those folks at Amazon how to interview. Okay? And I just mentioned earlier, a bar raiser have to take my course before they take the bar raiser course. Do you hear me? Do you hear what I'm saying? So with that in mind, when you are affected by the pandemic, or maybe you're not, you're just so terribly miserable, you're stuck in a dead end job. Let's be honest here. I know because I was there myself. Okay. When you're stuck in dead end job, you don't have the growth and you're bored or, oh my gosh, you're running out of fun. You're the head of household. I get them all. They're all my customers. I get them. I get it. I can hear it very, very loud. Okay. And when I share about my background earlier, I also did not share that in 2020, a few days right before coronavirus was announced, my home was flooded. And my son and I were literally homeless within our home with no furniture. And we were on top of 2 feet of water. And that's the fact. Okay. And we moved 6 times in the entire year. In fact, we just moved back into our condo several months ago. So I get what you're going through. Let me tell you this, when we are desperate to just get any job and let the interviewer know, number one, it's going to turn them off. Number two, employers and recruiters like to hunt. That is why when, for those who've been with me for a while, bear with me for a second. There's a lot of new audience today. When recruiters look for candidates, for instance, let me give you a big thing, and someone is going to yell at me who's a recruiter or career coach who advised you to put the open to network on your LinkedIn. You know, the little green thing that says open to network. I would never do that because as a recruiter, I would never look for those people. I would look for ones who are good in what they do or have some experience, and I want to reach out to them. So my style is to teach you how to connect with the right professional in landing job interviewed and not just reach out to people. Just, I don't know how you reach out to folks or just get the job interview. Getting the job interview is easy, but passing them is two things. Your mindset have to change immediately from the moment of your branding. Someone need to stop me from talking about branding because it's going back to branding again, people. Branding, 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 okay? Branding, with a lack of branding, you will have a lack of self-esteem, the lack of confidence. When folks are looking at your credential, you may have all the keyword, but when they interview you, they can see right away. And from our tone, if our mindset is not demonstrating the ownership that we want the job, be confident, but don't be arrogant. Are we prepared to ace the job? Do we know what we're talking about? And then get the job and then decide if you want to take the position or not. Don't take a job because it's Amazon. It may not be a good fit for you. Go watch my Why Amazon video if you haven't already, okay? That's sharing exactly what I've done. At the time, Amazon worked really well for me. Now, if I were to go back to Amazon, it won't work for me because I'm so busy right now. I barely have any time to make my coffee. Look, guys, I have to go buy coffee this morning. That's how busy I am. I'm just live streaming and dropping off my kid in daycare this morning. Do you see where I'm going? So do your due intelligent, change your mindset where when you're ready to interview, I want you to be in the zone. I want you to be in the mode and I want you to tell yourself, I'm going to go and get that job because I've done this, practice to death, know that I'm ready. I'm ready to work for an employer. I want to get a job. My goal is to get a job at Amazon. I hear you loud and clear. But in the middle of getting a job at Amazon, you should always look at other employers, right? And then you evaluate. Please don't make the same mistake as so many of my customers who came to me heartbroken, devastated, lack of motive. I have them all, by the way. I have all of them. And guess what? Guess what, guys? They were all ended up with a level offer up, a 6 at Amazon after working with me for 2 to 3 months. Okay? So please, if you guys are not ready, it's also the things that you're saying, it's in your tone. Cancel that interview. Amazon's not going anywhere. Okay, Amazon's not going anywhere. All these companies, none of them are going anywhere. Especially Amazon is not going anywhere. So don't be afraid that the position is closed because they're hiring someone else. When Amazon give you an offer, I'm pretty sure they have other candidates in the pipeline as well, okay? Because recruiters and hiring managers don't want to just settle for one and not have backups. If they have backups, they will make sure the backup is there. I think I've done enough preaching for now. Alrighty, Bear. Can you guys tell me that you heard what I said about canceling your interview or pushing it out when you're not ready? Bear, you missed me yelling at the community. Welcome back, Bear, in a while. Hi, TJ. Okay, let's pick on someone new. Win-win. I had one interview with a recruiter from G meaning Google, but said they already have a final calendar for the position. Why do they still schedule for the interview? Because company needs to build their pipeline. When exactly what I have literally just said, they like to build the pipeline like they should. What if the candidate declined the offer and they have to start from scratch? Yeah. So, hey Holly, I'm an agency tech recruiter. Woohoo! Recruiter in the house. Yes. Well, Lemon, you just heard me yell my entire community. How do you feel about that? Trying to get into FAANG as a recruiter, any general advice? Yes, that is showing up really. It's not having the experience or not. I have personally hired sourcers with no experience at all whatsoever, and they outperform the FTE. I've done the same thing at Amazon. I've done it at Facebook even. Yeah. One of my most memorable hire was a gal that works for a nonprofit teaching kids how to read. It has nothing to do with recruiting, but because when I asked her with no experience, Lemon, okay, I said, oh, I'm sorry, Ola, I didn't realize you were still on the screen. When I asked my candidate, recruiting candidate, I said, why do you think you're a good fit for this position when you have no tech industry experience? Like she doesn't even speak tech, no tech experience, don't even know what engineer is, and also zero recruiting experiences. She looked at me and she said, Holly, I just drove all the way from Sacramento to Seattle. We're talking about 3 states away, people. 2 states away. And I slept in my car since 4:30 this morning. That's how much I wanted to work for Facebook. And that just shut me up right there. That's why. It has so much to do with your aptitude, how hungry you are, and that tells me that this person's willing to work hard to learn. And Lord behold, she outperformed majority, if not all, of the FTE in the org. And let's just stop right there. Okay, foosball. Foosball is losing. Hey, Holly, I have 4 hours Amazon panel scheduled for tomorrow. As a maintenance planner, any thoughts on this? I watch a video. No, the thought is you have to make sure that you are really practicing. If I have to have you watch anything, go check out my, and this is all going back to my Amazon onboarding process. One may be asking, Holly, why on earth are you advising job seeker who hasn't even landed a job offer to look at your Amazon onboarding process? It has everything to do with it. So you can learn the culture. As you are giving your answer, I want you to think about everything that I've done, even within the first week, first 30 days, first 90 days, so that your answer could cater around that. For instance, as an interviewer, I do ask people this. What is your plan for the first 30 days at Amazon? I do. That is an interview question. And a lot of them give me very general answer. Well, I'm assuming that there's going to be a onboarding plan or something. I'm assuming that there's going to be onboarding buddy. Assuming? No. At Amazon, there is no assuming. At Amazon, you have to go. Okay? There's and this is also what I teach in my cohort as well. Because once you start a job at Amazon, especially being virtual or remote now, I think they're going back to the office end of this year. I'm not really sure. I haven't kept up with the media about Amazon coming back or returning to the office. I was interviewed on dice.com. If you guys don't know about them, they are for tech only. It's a job site portal similar to like the monster.com and whatnot. I was interviewed with the topic that I was really passionate about, which is skills and tools to work remotely. And I talk about dealing with ambiguity. I talk about dealing with politics. I talked about, yes, there will be some credit grabber. Grabber are ones who see that you've done great work, and basically because you're new, they take credits from you and claim that it's their own work. I'm not saying this is Amazon and targeting Amazon, but this is just any company. If you think about us as a human and we choose to work for a rapid growing company, you know they're highly ambitious. Sometimes I think that takes the best out of people, right? Where they will do whatever it can to be successful, because at a big company, you have to stand out. You're being measured from the moment you hit your 3 months, boom, the clock is ticking. So you're not going to wait until 3 months to start building things. You want to start doing that as quickly as you can. Okay, Fushball? Yes, Catherine says 30 to 45 seconds. Thank you. CK says, do you recommend writing thank you follow up letter? Does it help? I would. Of every single interview I've made in my entire career, I always have a thank you message. Back in the days, because I was old school, I actually write a thank you card and mail it to them. Well, now no one is in the office. You can't do that. I would advise for you to write a thank you email and forward it to the recruiter so the recruiter can forward it to the hiring manager and team. I would also advise for you to LinkedIn with the people that you met with. And when you LinkedIn with them, excuse me. Oh, excuse me, guys. I would highly recommend that you personalize every single messages with the folks that you reach out to. Okay? That is your warm lead. You already met with them. Even if it's not the right fit, you still want them to remember you. Hello, Ruchi. How are you, Ruchi? Rodney, I feel like I haven't seen you for a while. Kang, how are you? I love me some star, star, star. Thank you very much. Apple Green, can you visit Holly's website? Yes, it's hollyleague.co. Thank you, Anlu, for doing that. Punit says, I watch your Amazon Leadership Principle playlist. As you always say, prepare more than 24 LP answer. Yes, thank you, Punit. I said bare minimum 20 story, and I can teach you how to recycle those stories. I can't do that. It's hard for me to do this, right? Because I don't know your background. I've never worked with you. I don't know what you sound like. I don't know what the gap is. And I definitely don't know how to bridge the gap when I haven't really connect with you and know more about your background. That's what the coaching cohort is for. It's made for those. But I will be surprised if I work with professional who hasn't already felt an Amazon interviewed. That's the first thing that I say rather than saying, yes, I will help you coach. No. The bottom line is even if you have an Amazon interviewed, if you don't push your interview out for close to a month, I don't take those customers. I only take one because let's be honest here. You cannot prepped for an Amazon interviewed in a week or one day. And a lot of them get so desperate. I'm going to use the word desperate. Holly, I'll pay for whatever it is. I'll pay for your private coach. I'm like, nope, can't do it. I'm sorry. If you tell me that you fail your interview that many times, one single private coaching, it's not going to do you any justice. You need at least 2 to 3 months. Average at the bare minimum, 2 months. Bare minimum. Okay? Someone appreciate my respond who was hungry for employment. Long time. Feel like I haven't seen you for a long time. I saw someone mention losing weight. I will get there first. I'm like, what? What? Here you go, Swati. Swati says, I really appreciate your response. She reached out to me for my visa details and location preference. Excellent. Catherine says, the online assessment video was so helpful. Oh, you like that video? The quality was so bad. I have been struggling. You see the background and everything you see. As I mentioned a second ago, we moved back home not that long, so I had to rebuild my entire studio. There are a point in my life in 2020 where you see me having different background, different setting. That is because I was literally rebuilding everything that was damaged by the water flood or what the flooding of our home. And I feel like sometimes um, it's one of those where it's damn if you do, damn if you don't. First, I get a lot of complaints. Holly, you need to make a video about this. And then I have complaint. Holly, your audio is not loud enough. Your visual is not good enough. Holly, I am not even subscribing to your channel because I don't like the way you edit your video. And I'm like, listen, do you want free tip or do you not? That's it. That's all I gotta say. Okay. I feel like when you guys are looking for content, there's so much good stuff out there. And I'm someone that is a realist and I'm relatable. So when I'm going through things in my life, I don't share that with my audience or my customers. But the reason why I'm sharing a little bit more of my background, where I come from, is because oftentimes I feel like I'm being judged, just like how I present myself on camera. Your light is too bright. You're like, listen, it's kind of like you being in an interview when an interviewer tells you, you're too long-winded. You just took 15 minutes to answer a question. You're not a good fit. Do you see where I'm going? So at a time when you look at someone and the way they present themselves, or you don't like what they say, they're just not a cup of tea for you, and you can kindly just move forward to someone else, because that's exactly what an interviewer's mindset would be. Okay? So it's also one of those where judge yourself before you judge others, especially when people are trying to give you free content. You're welcome, Swati. Um, oh, Punit says, I will reach out to you on LinkedIn. Awesome. Lemin says, would you recommend applying through an external agency at Amazon or directly? I would try both, because Amazon does start a lot of the recruiter as a contractor, and if they're good, they will get converted. Okay, a lot of the recruiters are contractor. I think there's now. I mean, I don't know if this is still the case because of the pandemic, but the last time I was there was about 3 years ago, and I wanted to say 60% FTE, 40% contractors. So either way, you can't go wrong. Get your foot in the door, however you can. But Lemon, I almost call you Lemon. Um, to get a recruiting job at Amazon is really hard. For instance, if I were to tell you or ask you right now, whiteboard for me, tell me how to find a software engineer experience with computer vision and machine learning, with a background with consumer electronic or devices, and I'm only interested to see resume or profiles from Seattle, and I need them to meet the level 6 bar. How would you do that? Now I want you to visually tell me, or tell me over Google a coding pad or whatever they're using, a whiteboard. I want you to tell me what it is, and I'm going to take your search string and put it on my LinkedIn to see if your sourcing strategy works. That's a Google. Not Google. Yes, that's a Google interview as well. That's an Amazon interview. Okay, and then depending on the type of department or position that you'll be filling for Amazon or any of the FAANG company, the interview questions are very similar. You all know that, right? Same thing. And once you make it through that, there are going to be senior recruiters who's interviewing you. And that person would ask you how, for example, name 5 operating system. Yeah, name 5 operating system. And how are they different? If you are interviewing for platform or infrastructure, tell me all the layers. Those are the type of interview, okay? If you're struggling to answer those questions right now, I would advise for you to do your homework and see what type of recruiting questions before you reach out or apply to jobs at Amazon. And should you need help or more, Lemon, you could take a look at the link to my group coaching cohort. I recommend the Star Interviewer. As mentioned, it is 2 months and it is the least cost of all of my program. Hi, Elena. Elena says, I have a loop tomorrow. There's a lot of you interviewing tomorrow for L6 No Tech PM role. Any specific focus question on senior level, mostly likely asked for? That would be every single question. If you truly looked at my Amazon Leadership Principle playlist, all of the questions that Amazon's going to ask you are in there. And I talked a lot about mindset and demonstrating ownership. That's what I mean. It doesn't matter if you're tech, non-tech, executive, intern. You have to demonstrate why you're a good fit for the job based on your achievement, where people fail. Hi, Cecilia. You're welcome. Hello, Mustafa. Mustafa, how are you? Ted. There's a lot of questions. Hang on a second. I want to make sure that I have time for all your questions. Okay, hang on one second here. Okay. Ted says, I am interested in your coaching services. What should I do prior to make the most of it? I'm looking to start applying to FAANG next month. Ted, if you're interested in my coaching, I'm also very selective in who I bring in. reach out to me on LinkedIn, and on the topic, just put coaching services so I remember who you are. The first thing I do is I looked at your LinkedIn profile to get a feel of your background. Even though if it's completely empty or half empty, I at least want to know who I'm engaging with, because I don't just take any customers. I wanted to take the ones I know for a fact that I can help land jobs at FAANG company, because I'm very obsessed and I do want to focus on the results. Okay. And Ted, I'm the only Holly Lee on LinkedIn, by the way. All right. Hey, Michelle. Okay, Adam's World. Okay, Adam's World. Red Riding Hood. Hi, Holly. My manager is currently working for giving me an hourly rate bike. Oh, I didn't know they do that at Google. That's awesome. I'm 9 months into contract project at Google. Wow, Red Riding Hood. That's awesome. I didn't even know that was a thing at Google. Hourly rate hike. Cool. Sounds like you got a really good manager. Red Riding Hood, I have no doubt that you are really kicking butt at Google. Let me know when it's time for you to interview for a full-time job. Remember, Red Riding Hood, spend the time in building great rapport with your peers, cross-functional team, everyone who's going to vouch for you, okay? Michelle says, thanks for all your video. It's helpful. I finished my loop yesterday with Amazon. The recruiter just reached out and wants to chat. What does it mean? If they reach out to you, usually it's an offer. Woohoo! Fingers crossed for you, Michelle. Normally, when a recruiter wants to talk to you after an on-site interview and schedule a time, that means they want to talk about number and your offer. Okay, let me know how it goes. Reach out to me via LinkedIn, Michelle. Would love to see where you're at. Rip says, oh, you got a job offer. Woo! Where's Rip? I got a job offer and doing salary question. I was asked to give them numbers, but number gave is already out of range from market data. What do you mean? So it's hard to gauge what is the right number to give them, 20% more, 30% more. First of all, Rib, have you already seen my salary negotiation video? Say yes or no in the comment when you're asking me that. Because if you haven't seen that, there's been 4 people who's asked me the same thing. So I'm not being efficient with my time to repeat myself 4 times. Someone's going to get bored and fall off. So please do look at those videos. That's where I am literally walking you exactly what to say and what to do. Don't throw number there and just say, I want to make 30% more. Why? Why is that? Is that the market rate? Is that where the location of the job is? And you can look at how much people are making. And I talk about data and websites for you to do those search as well. Okay. Aman, could you please put an example about a situation you earn trust? That is my Friday session for paid YouTube member Aman, where I review their story. If you're interested, I have a video that's called Earn Trust. Okay. Amazon, leadership principle, questions and answer. It's all there for you guys. You just have to go check it out. I bet you anything, the question that you have, I have a video for every single thing. If I haven't already, I will look for it and make more for you. And guys, please do not spam the community by repeating yourself. If you want to ask questions, you can always super chat. If you don't, because this is really first come, first serve by the flow. I'm trying to connect with you all, my amazing community member. So please do not do so. And Anlu, thank you so much for helping me monitor the community. Alrighty. Ola says, oh, hang on, Ola. Ola says, thank you so much for your reply. We'll check out the video. Of course, anytime. Anthony says, hi, Holly. I have a second interview for an internal transfer. Good for you, Anthony. Workers' compensation position. They look at job posting. Oh, they took the job posting down. Is this something that I should be concerned about? No, job posting could be two-way, right? It could be because the job expired and the recruiter forgot to renew the job posting. It could be that. Or even if the position is filled, Again, let's be honest, Amazon has so many open positions. People transferring from team to team, people leaving Amazon to move to a different location or leaving altogether out of Amazon. So I would not be worrying about that, Anthony. If you're still in the loop, even if they don't have a position for you, if they like you, they will always be reaching out to you, Anthony. Don't be afraid. Um Veronica, hi Holly, looking great, losing weight on purpose. Well, thank you very much. That's called chasing after a 3.5-year-old. It does that to you. Thank you for your advice. It helped me interview with my hiring manager at Amazon Robotics. Yes, I remember you. I'm off to the loop. Any advice? I would say, Veronica, be amazing. Don't forget to put on a smile and be personable, okay? A lot of you guys, when you interview, you're so tense and nervous. Please don't do that. Be your amazing self. You're ready to go. Go in there and get that job and show them that you get the job. Alicia, you got an offer last week. Woohoo! There's quite a few of you that has landed a job offer. Make me so happy. Yes, yes, yes. In 2020, just YouTube alone, over 400 people land a job offer worldwide. And we're not talking about entry-level position either. Over 400. If you guys do the math, each week I stream twice a week, Tuesdays and Friday, yeah? And each week at the very low, I have anywhere between 5 to 12 job offer announcement just on YouTube live streaming. I keep a copy of all of them, even some of my videos on private, because I don't want a lot of spammer to come in here and download my stuff. That's the reason why. But a lot of the live stream, it's being recap where I actually watch through the full 2 hour, trim it down for about 10-12 minutes for you guys, the part that would add the most value. For the raw live session like this, that's for pay member only. It would be under the replay playlist. It's called member only replay. Okay, that's why I'm doing it. Thank you so much for coming in and sharing, Asha. It makes my day when I hear job offer coming in. Thank you. Definitely negotiated your salary. I end up getting 13,000 more due to negotiation. Oh, I'm so happy for you, Isha. Good for you. Don't ever settle for the first offer, girl. Or boy. I can't tell. Pink. What to do if I don't have 20 different stories for an interview? It's also dependent on your content, right? If you don't have 20 stories, I can't really give you a whole lot of advice because it's all about your story. Maybe we need to review your story. And if you're interested to that, if you are the same person that had already reached out to me, maybe it's time that we consider you for my Star Interview Accelerator program, where we can really focus on your branding and storytelling and mock interview. That's what it's for. Okay? If you guys have been trying it for months and months and months and have failed job interviewed, it's time for you to take the next step. Isha says, quite a lot of time, Anthony. Luckily, I had 2 months between my first contact loop to start writing up story from the recruiter call. Yes, yes, Isha. Thank you so much for sharing that. In fact, I like what you said so much. I'm going to put it on here for 1 second. Isha says it took her or him 2 months from writing story, articulating her story to be perfect. That is absolutely correct. That's why I'm so passionate about my Star Interview Accelerator. It's 2 months. It takes at the bare minimum 2 months for you to figure it out. I'm going to tell you guys this right now. There are so many members where I have to nudge. Come on, give me your story. If you're stuck, tell me where you're stuck. Let me help you start. Let me guide you through how you can start. So there's a lot of those motivational accountability. That's what the Star Accelerator is for versus my VIP. For some reason, they're so hungry. They just want to attack, and they're moving so much faster as far as the speed. That's another difference between the two programs. But it takes a long time, guys. It takes so long. Some of my cohort member mentioned that, well, Holly, do you think it's my communication that I didn't get a job at Amazon and I've had 3, 4, 5, 6 failed interview? No, it's not because of your communication. Professional. English is my 4th language, people. 4, not 1, not 2, 4 languages. Okay? I was in ESL when I started school in America. I'm pretty proud of that. So don't tell me it's because of your accent, the way you pronounce things, why you don't get a job at Amazon. It has nothing to do with the way you pronounce your word. It has everything to do with your content. What have you done? What have you done? Let me tell you guys this. In the last 2 weeks, true story, guys, in the last 2 weeks, I have helped all three of them are director level or senior director level. One of them is from Apple. The other two is from VMware. Okay. And they're not even from the US, which means they have the Eastern European accent. And for European and America, the way how we articulate our story are completely different. I think European folks are very nice, very friendly. They like to explain things of A through Z before telling you what they've done. Americans don't like that. I'm being very raw here. They just want you to tell them what they want to hear. What problem are you solving and how are you able to make an impact? By the way, what is your impact? And that's it. They don't want to know anything else about you. So if I'm able to transform professional from Israel, to be specific, okay? I'm from Vietnam and I still have that Vietnamese Chinese accent. I know I do. And my cohort is 99% diversity. And I'm saying this with truth. 99% of them are diversity, meaning that you're not born and raised in the US. Wait a minute. In fact, you know what? I think 100% of them are diversity. Okay? So even the ones who wrote recommendation for me on my LinkedIn, go take a look at it. Look at how many diversity are there. Where are they from? Okay. So if you think that because you are not born and raised in the US or you're over the age of 40, 50, even 60, or because you are a woman or man or a veteran of any kind of color, you're wrong. It's in your ability to share what you have done. That's it. There's no more. That is it. And look at everyone who came in here with a job announcement and look at their background. You can tell a lot just by their nickname or their name, right? Yes, I'm trying to give you a little bit inspiration here. Hungry. Take a job you will like. Yes. Thank you, Hungry. It's really, this is a very sensitive topic to me because I have been through a lot. I was at the point where I left a really high paying job just so that I could spend a year with my son. I mean, Facebook was one of the best company I've ever worked with because let's be honest here. I had the food like literally in my face. I had like my free like gourmet coffee and premium healthcare. I love working for all these companies that are treating their I want to say employee happiness, right? Because Facebook and Google are very similar in that way. I left because I didn't feel like I have enough time to be a new mom, a single mom, by the way, single and new mom. And I didn't like who I was because I was so stressed out all the time. I was exhausted and I had to manage a team and I had to build a team so I can manage a team and manage my clients too because they don't know what AR, VR technologies are and I have to educate them as well. My priority at the time in 2019 was to focus on my son. So I pretty much up and left my job to take some time off to be with my son. Okay. And even if we didn't, and we're in a condo, it's not like I have a big house either. I didn't care. If you focus on money and fame and all of that stuff, professional, you're not focusing on the right thing. Even if you're successful in landing the job, how many friends do you have with you? How many people willing to work for you and with you? How many, right? So that's why I wanted to do what I want. And now being a coach for you guys, employers couldn't even pay me enough to go back there and did what I did before because this is my calling right here, helping you guys land a job offer. So when you're interviewing, you have to ask yourself the same questions. You want to get into all of those FAANG company because you just want to say, I can do it, which I have a lot of customer who have offer from Amazon and other company. They chose startup or they chose AT&T even. Yes, professional, true story. One of my software engineer failed their interview at Google and Amazon. And finally, after working with me, landed 3 different offers. And that person chose AT&T as an engineer. Okay. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. You have to really have the right mindset and you can't feel desperacy. When I feel desperate, I don't want to use the word desperate, but yeah, I got to be honest. In 2020, it was a really bad year for all of us. I'm not saying this because I was an ex-Amazonian. That's past tense. Okay. I'm saying it because I too was struggling. You got laid off. That's great. Yes, I know I quit my job, but I was flooded. I had nowhere else to go and no home. And I'm here right now. I'm still streaming for you. And this is over a year anniversary. So we should give each other applause that the coronavirus is almost over. It's not over yet. Let's be real. But I don't feel that we are in a recession. I feel like we need to shift our energy to where are the open opportunity that's relating to our background. Yes, Amazon has the most position, but so are other companies. With that in mind, what other companies are out there for you? If what I'm saying makes sense for you, can you please say yes on the bottom and let me know that you guys are still with me? Okay. There are 34 people watching right now. If you like what I'm saying, please give me a thumbs up in the video. This video will be in the replay for member only, and I will do a recap later on. Let's continue and wrap this up. Bear says, Holly, you need a job offer counter to leave on the stream. Huh, that's really smart. I know, I never thought about that, Bear. I know, girl. I've been trying so hard to integrate things little and little at a time. I feel like Mr. London Leader is yelling at me. He kept on telling me that I need to get all these FAANG companies to start sponsoring me and all that stuff. But I actually told him that my focus is not on generating revenue. My focus, my success, my richness is coming from you guys coming in here. Do you have any idea how you make me feel when you're saying, Holly, I got a job offer because of your coaching? Holly, thank you so much because I couldn't pay bills. And because of you, I was able to provide for my 3 kids. That's what I find richness of. Okay? I know, Mr. London Leader. You're so funny. Okay. I want to make sure that I don't miss anyone else. You're welcome, Lemon. Lemon, let me know what I said earlier about the interview prep questions that I usually ask all of the recruiter early on, okay? Ted, I'll look forward in connecting with you on LinkedIn. And I'm trying to get into a contract role. I get called for 4 to 5 agencies for the same role. That shows a lot of competition for those roles. That is correct. There's a lot of competition. Amazon has about 1,000 agencies working for them. That's true. A lot of vendors working for them. There's a lot of ex-Amazonian who turn into a staffing agency as well. But you're always going to have competitions, right? That's just how the world works. That's why you have to really make yourself stand out differently. It's the only way, okay? And don't be afraid of competition. You guys may think that just because I have a channel and I talk a lot about FAANG company, you have any idea how many people are talking about Amazon now? Quite a lot, okay? You just have to make yourself stand out. And given the type of experience that they don't usually get with hundreds of other candidates that they have interviewed, what makes you unique and different? And how are you going to show up? Please don't tell me because Amazon's the most innovative thing in the world. Please do not say that. Go check out my Why Amazon video. Okay, Hungry says, all Holly's information she provides also work outside the FAANG companies. It's really good tips and advice. Thank you, Hungry. Pravin, hi Holly, I love your video and thank you so much for all the content you share. I have a full loop coming in 3 weeks for SDM. SDM is engineering manager. What is a better VIP or start? That will be VIP because you already have an interviewed, which is right here, this one. What the VIP does is that, well, funny that you asked because my mock interview is tomorrow. Pravin, okay? It is tomorrow at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for VIP. And there's actually a couple engineering folks in there as well, engineering managers. That is immediately we're going to review your resume and LinkedIn because as a coach, I'm hoping that all the coaches do this. They should look at your credential so they know how to help you. If I don't look at your credential, how on earth am I supposed to know how to help you and being able to influence you and help you with a keyword without looking at your branding, right? That's the first thing that you do. I'm going to make you fix your LinkedIn and your resume. The reason why I'm making you do that is that if your branding doesn't pop, you're not going to be able to create the right storytelling because your branding, all of that, I'm going to teach you how to turn that into storytelling. Yes, Pravin, that's what I will do. Okay. It's going to take you 2 weeks if you follow every single thing I say and move in my speed. Yes, I've had, excuse me, I've had 18 people in 2020 who land a job in under 1 month in my VIP cohort. But those are extreme, highly ambitious people who no complaint, no excuses. Holly, what's next? Okay, I'm done. Can you review this for me? Okay. Um, what else do I need to improve on with my articulation? Oh, my communication. There's a gap. Okay, tell me how to fix it. Boom. We are we have this ping pong conversation where you're moving in my speed. If you're able to do that, then yes, you can get a job within a month. But if you are already excuse me, in your final loop in 3 weeks, we at the bare minimum, we can get you the right story, and you need to work really hard in preparing or and rehearsing your story twice a week, every single week. But the key is your branding has to be perfect, your story has to be perfect, and that part will take about a week and a half, 2 weeks. Okay? Alrighty. I'm going to move this along. I feel like I'm still under the weather, so I have to speed up a little bit. Um, Bear in the Wild says at least at least a job counter would be great so newbies can see your success rate. Huh. Smart girl. I never thought about that. That is true. That means I have to build an overlay on the screen. I could do that. That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you for the tip. Can you tell I'm not a product person? I'm definitely not a marketing person as well. Taylor, hello, Taylor. I have an interview on Thursday to become a recruiting coordinator. That's cute for Amazon. Please wish me luck. Have been watching your video. Yes, best of luck to you. Davey, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. And Rushali, hello, Rushali. Red Riding Hood says, one day I will come to you saying about my full-time conversion and contract here, waiting for that day. I have no doubt you will get the Red Riding Hood. And when that day comes, make sure you do tell me, because when you do, I will mail you a small gift. Anish says, hi, Holly. I'm interested in your coaching services and have reached out to you on LinkedIn. I filled out the questionnaire on your website. Is there a waiting list currently? Asish, I'm being very honest, there's a very, very long waiting list, like 6 months out. That's why we have a, if you go to my website, if you put interview prep, I actually make you fill a form, because I find that, and we don't do consultation call for that reason, because we're getting so much traffic. What I do is my team and I actually read every single one, and we pick the one that we know that we can help. For example, it is not a trick questions. In that form, it says, do you need hand holding? Are you self-driven? So on and so forth. So that's allowing me to talk about the products and services that's relevant to your background. And do we have the bandwidth to help you? If you reach out to me on LinkedIn and mention that you are in my live chat, I will look at that immediately and evaluate your LinkedIn profile and see if we can help you. Okay? Make sure that you do reach out to me on LinkedIn as well, Anish. And we will get back to you this week. Davey says, my goodness, I feel like I've been sick almost every single day now. Where are you? Where are you, Davey? I know you are here. Why am I not seeing you? Davey says, I got an email Friday asking for my agenda for phone interview. Haven't received a reply yet. No longer in consideration on the site. When it comes to your status, Davey, don't pay attention to it. As I mentioned earlier, it could be an error, or what status doesn't mean anything. Also, the your candidate profile is attached to the system and the rec. Sometimes they may be using the rec that you are being tagged on or linked to make an offer for someone else, and therefore they have to close the rec and move you to a different position. So do not pay attention to the status. It doesn't mean a whole lot of things. If you're waiting for a phone screen, then you're probably still waiting for a phone interview. Okay? If you haven't heard back from your recruiter within 2 business days, when you're in the loop, meaning in contact with them or moving to the next phase, I would highly advise for you to reach out to your recruiters. Hey, Mi Hung. How are you, Mi Hung? Mi Hung says, thanks for all the video. I got a congratulation letter from Amazon for an area man. You got a job offer. Yes, 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 yes. You see, this is the number 6 job offer of the day. If you do the math, every single week, there's at least 10 to 20 job offer for the entire year of 2020. That's where I came up with the 400 plus job offer. That's not including the ones who couldn't make it to my stream because they're in Asia or somewhere in the world and they're actually sleeping right now, 3 a.m. in the morning. I get a lot. I wanted to say confidentially about half a million. Yeah, 500,000 or so job offer at Amazon. It's funny because when on the LinkedIn feed, when I see someone that's just started a new job on LinkedIn, and then I will send them a message and say, hey, congratulations, I'm so happy for you. They respond to my message right away and say, Holly, it was because of you. It was because of your channel, your live coaching every week. That's why I was able to land a job. And I'm completely shocked because I have no clue who they are. Okay, so guys, it does work. It is a lot of hard work. I know that, but don't give up. Okay. Davey, let me know if you have any other questions for me. Abby, thank you so much for the super chat. And your question is, do you suggest 2 stories for all the leadership principle or your top 8 LPs or your behavioral question base? Can you clarify? That's a great question. I would highly recommend 2 stories only on the LPs that I have on my Amazon leadership playlist and Amazon leadership questions and answer. The first part is a wiki where I explain to you what the LP is, but I'm also giving you 2 questions as an IC and people manager, okay? So that way the people manager don't feel left out and also the IC don't feel left out. I have love for everybody. And on my second playlist, which is questions and answer, because you need to know the foundation of the LP before you start creating your story. But if you're able to articulate solving a problem, you have already met 80% of the leadership principle, guys. Okay, that's why you don't hear me talk so much about the type of questions and tying them to the LP. But if you want me to, I think I'm going to be doing that starting May. If you're interested in seeing questions and answer, tying them closely to the leadership principle, just say leadership principle in the chat. And I'm happy to do pre-recorded video for each and every one of those LP for you. David says, or Davey, just a quick follow-up. What to expect in this phone interview? Could you direct me to some of your material? Is a senior, when you say SPM, is it a senior program manager or a senior product manager? Because it's kind of 2 different things. For phone interviewed, they're really measuring if you are a fit at 70%. Meaning, do you have the fundamental for an SPM, a senior PM role? Do you have the fundamental? If you're interviewing for a group, a lot of the folks are interviewing for AWS. You have to be very specific with your question with me as well, because every team, even though the bar is the same, but some of the questions may change, right? For example, if you guys are interviewing for AWS, then you need to have some level of cloud infrastructure or AWS experience. One of the questions would be, what do you know about AWS infrastructure? Even as a program manager, okay? Because they wanted to see if you have the technical depth, just the technical knowledge in general. Product manager, thank you. And if you look at the product manager is all over Glassdoor as well, Davey. Hint, 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 hint. A lot of the question is on there. The product management, make sure that in your responses and in your storytelling, don't forget to mention what product that you're trying to launch, initiate from beginning to inception, and how do you build a go-to-market strategies for the product and what product is that? And another of the key ingredient is, who did you leverage? Who were your key partners, which is a lot of the tech team, okay? Everything has to tie with how you're able to benefit the end customer because you are a product manager. That's very, very Amazonian, all right? Fulfillment, not tech. Oh, fulfillment. Okay. Davey, I'm going to smack his hand right here. Davey, this is what I mean. You have to tell me what org you're interviewing for. Fulfillment and AWS is like this. It's not even speaking the same language. Then that's telling me that you have some type of operational background. So tie it around what you've done, what you've done as a product management, and what exactly is the product that you've directed for your operations, supply chain, or logistic background. Okay. And let's go with a couple more, and then we have to wrap this. So what is wrong with my throat, people? Oh my goodness, look at the time, guys. We have been doing this for almost 2 hours. Are you guys having fun? If you guys are having fun, please say yes or give me a star. Say yes, give me a thumbs up in the live chat, not in the live video. Give me a thumbs up because Google really loves seeing thumbs up. It helps with engagement, okay? Coffee. How I love coffee. This is just really simple Starbucks coffee. If it's not Starbucks coffee, it's Kirkland San Francisco brand with the whole bean. Oh my God, that smell of San Francisco bean. That's what I really miss about living in the city in San Francisco. I thought I saw, here you go. Pravin says, thank you for your response. I sent a LinkedIn. Should I join the VIP coaching from your website? Yes, you can join from the website on there. Anne says, hi Holly, love your content. I'm heading to my second. I love it. You guys all have your interview today and you want to stop by to say hi. Thank you for doing so. Now get out of here. I want you to meditate, change your mindset so you'll be ready for this interview. Don't forget, smile. I need you to smile, put on a smile. Make sure that you show some personality for the interviewer, okay? It is Tuesday, which means their week just barely started. They're probably overwhelmed with a lot of virtual meeting, working from home right now on Amazon. So you want to make sure that you add a little personal touch to make them feel like they are really interested in interviewing you. Atman. Hi, Atman. When answering behavioral questions, should we explicitly bring up how leadership principle apply to our situation? No. Great question. Awesome question. Let me just put it on here. Ottman says, should we mention or drop leadership principle? No, because no company likes that. It's not just Amazon, okay? For instance, when you're solving a problem, you don't want to say, here I demonstrate customer service by doing this and I was able to think big. I was able to dive. No, don't do that. Just be very, very smooth. For instance, rather than saying that I'm diving deep to figure out the root cause or whatever problem you're trying to solve, simply just say the action I took was being able to identify where the gap is. From there, I was able to, what did you do? You see where I'm going? That right there is diving deep. And your think big, you don't have to say think big. Explain to me what you have done to get there. Okay, Atman? Ottman. Actually, it's Ottman. Mariko says, what did you say, Mariko? Mariko says, is it common for other managers to look at your profile after you have looped the org will be working? And of course, because they want to know who you are. They want to see how amazing you are. Sometimes they forgot about you, which happens to me a lot. Because when we do so many interviews, we just can't put 2 to 2 together anymore. We want to remember the face with our feedback. Okay? That's what I mean. I want to close this with the final thought here for a second. Abby, thank you so much for the thumbs up. I really appreciate you. CK, I hope that I was able to answer all of your questions today. Ruslan, welcome to the community. I think you are new, if I'm correct, and everybody else who is here. So, in the final thought, here's what I have to say to you guys. Listen very, very carefully for just 30 seconds, I promise. You have to have the perfect branding. Mariko just asked, is it common for your future manager to look at you or basically after they have interviewed you or even if you have a job offer because they want to remember you? I coach folks to make sure that they put a profile from the LinkedIn from top down, making sure that your profile looks presentable because when you join company these days, they don't look at you in internal wiki. Where do they go? They go on LinkedIn. Okay? They go on LinkedIn. Don't forget that. And for all of you who's struggling in coming up with 20 something stories, guess what? It's right here. It's your branding. Because if you don't have the right branding, you're going to really struggle in coming up with your story. Because the way how I coach you in your story after we fix your resume is to look at your resume and branding and then turn them into story. Yes, that's why, a lot of people can talk about the STAR method. The way how I transform the STAR method is very, very different. Okay. Again, if you are part of my YouTube community, I appreciate you. And if you're interested in improving your branding with my resume accelerator, you are also going to get the LinkedIn course for free. Until this Friday at 9:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Thank you so much, everyone, for supporting my work. And I will see you soon. Be well.